Today, I'm going to show you how to fix a corrupted user profile in Windows. And no, we're not just going to be copying all your files over to a new profile. We're actually going to fix it. Kind of. Stay tuned. So, I'm sure everyone has experienced this at one time or another, but you go to log onto your computer and all of a sudden you're either faced with a blank temporary profile that has none of your data, or you get an error message that says Windows can't log you in. Now, there's lots of different things that can create a problem like this. It could be a buggy piece of security software, a corrupted hard drive, or maybe even a virus that's causing it. Either way, you're essentially locked out of your computer without your user profile, or at least away from your data, that is. The common fix to this problem is to create a new user profile and copy all your data over, and then spend the next week or two going through and changing all your settings back to the way it was before the problem happened. And unfortunately, there's just no way to fix your original profile. But we also don't have to stop with just copying your data over. We can copy your settings over too. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. But first, I got to pay some bills. So check out today's sponsor. Are you still running Windows 11 unactivated because the license just costs too much? Then you should check out today's sponsor, VIP SCD Key, where you can get a valid Windows 11 license for around $20. Stop dealing with that stupid watermark and actually be able to change your desktop background with a valid license for Windows 11. Just go to the link in the description below and pick up a valid Windows 11 license key. During checkout, use the code CYBERCPU for a 25% discount. Once you have your key, go to your activation settings in Windows 11 and click the link that says Change Product Key. Enter the product key you just purchased and hit Activate. Now you don't have to deal with that stupid watermark. And check out the description for deals on not just Windows, but Office too. Now, on with the video. So yeah, unfortunately, there's no real efficient way to fix a corrupted profile. The standard way of fixing this problem is to create a new profile and copy all your data from the old profile over to the new one, and then essentially just start over from scratch. But we can use other methods to extract your settings from the corrupted profile and then move those over to the new profile as well. Now, unfortunately, depending on how your profile got corrupted, moving your settings may or may not be possible. For instance, if the reason why your profile was corrupted in the first place was because of a corrupted user registry hive, then there's not a whole lot you can do about that. But I'm going to break down each step so you can follow them yourself, and then when we're done, your profile should be, for the most part, like it was before it was corrupted. So, with that said, let's jump on the system and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so here we are in Windows 11. Luckily, this profile is not corrupted. What I went ahead and did is I went ahead and created a virtual machine, and we're going to be working from that virtual machine in this video. Now, as you can see, we get an error message right here that says we can't sign into your account. The problem can often be fixed by signing out of your account and then signing back in. If you don't sign out now, any files you create or changes you make will be lost. And this is in fact true. So right now we're in a temporary user account and all of my files are gone. So if we click on close, we can still use the computer like normal, but it's essentially just a default profile that doesn't have any of our data in it. If we go into File Explorer here, and let's just go into pictures, you can see it's completely empty. And then also we have the default Windows background. So to fix this, there's a couple of different things we can do. Since we have access to our user profile, we can easily enable the built-in administrator account. But some people don't have easy access to their user profile. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to enable the default administrator profile so you have a profile that you can work with, even if you can't get into your profile, if you're getting an error message that just won't let you log in at all. So to do that, the first thing that we need to do is shut the computer down. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. And then we're going to boot off of an ISO so we can go into Windows Recovery. Now we can't use recovery from the actual system itself. I don't know why, it just doesn't work. So you have to boot off of an ISO. So for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and hit start. I'm gonna hit the escape key so we can get our boot up. And it might take a couple tries right here. Unfortunately, with VirtualBox, sometimes it lets you get in, sometimes it doesn't. Unfortunately, this is just a limitation. There we go. Okay, so second try is a charm. All right, so we're gonna go down to Boot Manager. We're gonna go to our CD-ROM. And unfortunately, it looks like our CD-ROM is not mounted. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount that real quick. And there we go. So now we're booting off of the CD. So you're gonna be doing this from bare metal. So you're not gonna have to deal with the VirtualBox or your virtual machine in order to do this, but it should be essentially the same thing. So we go through here, we're gonna go hit next again, and we're gonna click on Repair My PC and click next again. And then this will go into Windows Recovery. We're gonna go ahead and hit OK, go into Troubleshoot, and then we're gonna want Command Prompt here. Now, one bug that I've noticed right here, and I don't know if this is something that you guys are gonna experience too, but I've experienced it in VirtualBox. And what that is we're gonna go ahead and launch DiskPart real quick. Because for some reason, if I hit list volume, you can see I have no drive letters for any of my hard drives, and I'm not sure exactly why. If you have access to your C drive, then you can skip this step. Otherwise, what I'm gonna do here is look for the biggest drive. So this one right here is 249 gigs. So that one's probably my boot drive right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit select volume 1. Now it says volume 1 is the selected volume. You can hit list volume again if you want, just to see the star next to it, just to make sure that that is in fact the selected volume. And then we're gonna type in assign letter equals C. And then if we do list volume again, as you can see, now we actually have a C drive. So we can go ahead and exit this. Now, if you can get to your C drive, then it's no big deal. You can skip that step. But if you can't, then it's really easy to assign a drive letter in DiskPart. But from here, now what we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and launch regedit, and that'll give us our registry editor. But unfortunately, this is the registry hive for the recovery environment, and that one just simply isn't going to work. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and click on local machine. We're gonna hit File, Load Hive, and then for the hive, we wanna go into our C drive. This is why C needs a drive letter. Then we're gonna go down to Windows. We're gonna go down to System32. Then we're gonna scroll down to Config. And then from config, we want the SAM file right here. And then go ahead and open it up. And then you just gotta give it a name. So I'm just gonna say temp is the name right here and hit OK. And then once we open local machine, you'll see that we have temp down here. And this is our SAM file right here. And then from there, we wanna go into SAM, domains. Then we wanna go into account. And then from account, we wanna go into users. And then from users, we want 0000001F4. So the one ending in F4 is fine. And this is where it gets just a little bit complicated, so you gotta be really careful here. But we want the F value right here. And when you open it, you'll see that this is a binary value. So this might look a little bit scary, but fortunately, it's not bad at all. So what we're gonna want is we wanna go down to the 8th row and the first column, and that's this 11 right here. So we wanna highlight that 11 and then hit delete. And you'll notice when you hit delete, it shifts everything over. You have to make sure to delete it. Don't just copy over it. And then we're gonna wanna replace it with 10 instead of 11. And as you can see, once I entered the 10, it moved everything back over again. Now, if you didn't delete it and you just wrote 10, you'll see that it moves everything further over, and that's just gonna mess up the binary value like I just did right here. So we're gonna go ahead and hit cancel real quick and run it again, and we're gonna fix the problem that I just created. So like I said, you're gonna go ahead and highlight the 11, delete it, and then replace it with a 10. And then you should be okay. Then you can hit the OK button. And all this is doing is enabling the built-in administrator account, but we're enabling it manually because we have no other way to do it if we don't have access to our standard profile. Now from here, we're gonna wanna go over and highlight temp again. This is the hive that we loaded before, and we wanna go ahead and hit File and Unload Hive. Now, if you don't unload the hive, if you just close regedit, it won't save the hive, and you'll have to do this whole thing over again. And you don't want to have to do that. So from here, we can go ahead and close this, and then we can turn off our computer and then fire it back up into Windows again. So as you can see, if you don't have access to any other account on your computer, then this is the only way that I could find to reliably enable the built-in administrator account. Now, you should be able to just use the net user command from within the recovery console to enable the built-in administrator account. But for some reason, I was unable to get that to work, at least for this demonstration. So this was unfortunately the best alternative. However, if you do have access to your user account, but it's just loading a temporary profile every time you log in with no data, it's much easier. Let's jump back on the system and I'll show you how to do it that way so you don't have to go through all of the stuff that we just went through. Okay, so as you can see, we're back to our temporary profile. We can go ahead and hit close right here. Now, if you do have access, like I said, it's much easier. If you click on start, type CMD. From here, you want to run CMD as an administrator. And then from this point right here, all you want to type in is net user administrator. And then you're going to want to hit /active : yes. And you click that and it enables the administrator account. So that one command does everything that we just did manually before. But unfortunately, if you don't have access to a user account, then you can't do it that way. However, we can go ahead now, we can click here and we can log us out right here. So we're going to go ahead and sign this account out and we're going to sign in as the administrator account right here. Now, normally you're going to have to wait for this account to create a profile, but as you can see, the profile's already been created for me because I went ahead and did this earlier. However, now that we have an account that's an administrator account that isn't attached to our corrupted account, we can go ahead and click on the start button. We're going to go ahead and we're going to type CMD. Run it as administrator. And honestly, if you're running the built-in administrator account, you don't actually have to run it as administrator because you already are administrator. So what we're going to do is we're going to run two commands. We're going to hit net user, and then I'm just going to type rich1. And then at this point, you can put a password in if you want. And if you do, just type in whatever your password is if you want. I'm going to leave mine blank for this demonstration, but we're going to go ahead and put /add. And what this account is doing is it's using the net command, telling it this is regarding user accounts. We want rich1, which obviously doesn't exist right now, but this switch tells us we want to add it. So by hitting enter, it completes successfully, and that created the new rich1 user account. However, that is a limited account. It's not an administrator account, and we want to go ahead and make that an administrator account. So for that, we're going to hit net again, but on this one, we want to hit local group administrators space, and then we want to type rich1, the name of the account we just created, space /add. And what this will do right here is it will add the rich1 account to the administrator group. So that'll make it an administrator account. And then from here, we can go ahead and hit exit. And then we're going to go ahead and log into the new account that we just created. So for that, we're going to log out of our administrator account. And then from here, you can see that we have now Rich and Rich1. Now, Rich is our corrupted account and Rich1 is our new account. So we're going to go ahead and sign in, and it has to go through the process of creating the account now. So at this point, it's really important to just let Windows do its thing and get this account ready for you. Even though we're not going to be using this account, well, we're not going to be using this account in the way that it is, we still need Windows to auto-generate all of the important system files for the account itself. So let's do this. Let's let Windows do its thing. It's just going to take a little bit, but once it's done, we'll move on to the next step, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so we're on this privacy screen right here. Go ahead and check whatever you normally check. I typically check no for everything and then hit accept. And now we're in a brand new user profile. Now from here, what we're going to want to do is essentially just sign out. All we needed right there was for Windows to create the new account. We don't actually need the account right now. For that, we're going to go back to the built-in administrator account to do the majority of what we're going to do in this video. So from here, now that we've got the new account created, we want to open up File Explorer. And from here, we're going to go ahead and pin File Explorer to both sides. Just like this. I'm going to get two File Explorers open right here. And then from here, we're going to go to our Rich1 account. And then from here, we're going to go to our original rich account. So as you can see, it's going to be pretty close to the same. You might have a few more documents in your old profile, but all you're going to want to do is highlight everything in this account. And then what I would do is use your right click button to drag it over here in order for you to copy it. And then what this will do is it will duplicate this one to this one right here. So then that way you have the same data in both. Now you don't have to copy it. You can move it if you want, but it's just better to copy it in my opinion. So that way you at least have a backup just in case something goes wrong. Okay, so up to this point, this is the standard method of recreating a new profile when your existing one gets corrupted. When the problem with stopping here is that you essentially have a new Windows profile that just happens to have all your data in it. It doesn't include any of your settings or personalizations. It's just a default profile with your data. But there's still a few steps that we can take to try to recover as many of our settings as possible so we don't have to spend weeks setting up our new profile back to the way it was before. So let's get back in the system and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go up to View, click on Show, and we want to hit Show Hidden Items. And we want to have access to our app data and our NT user data folder. Now, this is the new profile. This is not the old profile. So these things right here, we did not copy over before. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to right click on app data and I want to hit copy. And then I want to go ahead and paste it right into the same folder. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a new backup of our app data folder. So I'm going to go ahead and click do this to everything and just hit skip, because there's certain things that we can't copy, but for those, it's not going to be really that important. And then we want to do the same thing to our NT user DAT. We're going to hit copy and then we're going to hit paste, and that gives us a copy of our NT user DAT. So now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and open up command prompt again, hit run as administrator. And then from here, I'm going to go cd ... so we can actually see our user profiles. So here we've got Rich and Rich1. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit robocopy space c:/users/rich, because this is our primary profile, and then /app data, and then go ahead and hit space. And then now we want to tell it the destination location of where we want stuff copied to. And for that, it's going to be c:/users/rich1/app data. So as you can see here, what we're doing is we're copying the app data folder from our old profile for our rich profile right here to our new profile for the rich1 profile. And then there's a couple switches that we're going to want to do here. We're going to hit switch MIR. And what this does is it mirrors the entire directory tree. And then the next one is going to be switch XJ. And what this does is it excludes junction points and symbolic links that can kind of cause problems if you try to copy those over. And then the next one we're going to do is switch R:1. And what this does is it tells it the number of retries to make before it gives up on copying a file. And for this, it's going to be 1 retry before it gives up. And then the last switch is going to be W:1. And what this tells is it's the wait time between retries. If you don't set this to 1, it'll wait 30 seconds between each failure and it'll take forever. So if you change this to 1, it's 1 second and it moves on. And then once we do that, we can go ahead and hit enter. And as you can see, it'll start copying all the data for you. And you can just kind of sit back and enjoy the ride until it's done. It'll take a minute to finish. So once it finishes up, we can move on to the next step. All right, here we go. So as you can see, it failed to copy 24 files, but that should be okay because most of those files are going to be system files associated with both profiles, and you still have the original app data for the new profile. So that should be okay. So once you're finished there, you can go ahead and close this. And now that was our app data folder. Now the next one that we're going to copy is our actual registry settings. And this one's a little bit touchy because we can't just copy the entire NT user DAT over to the new profile. So for that, we're going to go ahead and close both of these windows. We're going to click the start button and we're going to type regedit. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and close our SAM file because we know that's not the one we need anymore. At this point, we're going to go ahead and click on HKey users, right? And then we're gonna go File, Load Hive, and then from here, we wanna go to our C drive, users, and our original profile, which is the rich profile. And then from here, we wanna go to NT user dat and hit open. Now, this is extremely important, but you have to make sure that whatever you name this when you load the Hive has to be the same when we copy the data over to the new profile. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna type temp for this right here. And I got to remember to name the other one temp when we go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK and go H key users, open it up, and there's our temp Hive right there. And then from here, we want to go all the way down to software. And then this is all the software programs that are currently installed on the computer. And this is where a lot of the settings for the specific user profile are stored. So from here, we're going to right click, we're going to hit export. And then right here on the desktop, we're just going to I'm just going to type backup and then go ahead and hit save. And as you can see, we have that right there on our desktop. So we're going to go ahead, click on temp there, go up to file and hit unload Hive and go ahead and hit yes to the message that comes up. And then go ahead and select H key users again, click on file, and then we want to click load Hive again. And then for this one, we're going to go back to users, go into rich 1, which is our new profile, and we're going to open up our NT user dat from here. And then right here, we have to make sure to name this exactly the same name that we named the other one. So that's going to be temp, and then OK. And then go ahead and click on temp and click on software again. And as you'll see, there's nowhere near as many settings in here as there is on the other one. Now on your system, it's probably going to be even more settings in there because you're not using a test system. You're using a system that's been used for a long period of time. So to fix this, all you have to do now, go ahead and go up to File, Import, and then from here we want to click on Desktop. And when I click backup and hit open, and then it says can't import some settings, not all data was successfully imported. Just go ahead and hit OK. But as you can see, some stuff was. It's not going to be able to import everything, but it imported a lot. And then from here, we can go ahead and close regedit. We can click on start. We're going to go ahead and sign out of our administrator account. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and sign into our new Rich 1 account. Go ahead and hit start. And what we should be left with is the same thing that we had before our original account got corrupted. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and click start here. I'm going to click on pictures. All of my pictures are here. And you'll notice that the dark theme is enabled. And I have the desktop background that I had before everything was corrupted, as well as my icon placements and everything else exactly the same way as it was before. And then the last step is going to be go ahead and type in CMD. And of course, it's not going to do it here. So we're going to open up our command prompt. Unfortunately, this is kind of the bugginess of using VirtualBox, unfortunately, but it is what it is. We're going to run command prompt as administrator. And then from here, there's a couple of commands that we need to run. The first one is going to be net user administrator switch active : no. And then what this does is this disables the built-in administrator account. So it's kind of a security issue having the built-in administrator account enabled. So once you're done using it, I would recommend disabling it. And then also you could put net user rich switch active, no. And then what this will do is it will disable the corrupted profile, at least your old profile. So that way it's not bugging you and you don't have to look at it in the login screen anymore. But it does store all of your data in there. So just in case you ever need to recover your data for any reason, it's still going to be in that profile. However, the time may come where you need the hard drive space. So if that happens, go down into your C drive, go into local C, users, and you'll see right here that the profile folder is still there, even though the account itself has been disabled. Now you can right click and hit delete at any point in time to delete that old profile and save yourself some hard drive space. But make sure that everything has been transferred over to your new profile first before you do that, just in case you need to recover something from your old profile. Now, at any point during this process, you could render the new profile corrupted as well. That's why we backed up our new app data folder as well as our new registry hive. So if you need to, you can always backtrack and restore those if transferring them from the old profile corrupted the new profile. Because unfortunately, if that's the case, you're going to lose some settings from that specific section. Because a user profile in Windows, the settings are kind of split between the app data folder and the registry hive. So if you're unable to restore one, but you are able to restore the other, unfortunately, you're going to lose the settings from the one that you're unable to restore. And there's not a whole lot you can do about that. But in some cases, the whole reason why you can't get into your profile to begin with is because of either a corrupted registry hive or a corrupted app data folder. And if that's the case, sometimes you can still extract the settings from within the settings section of your registry hive, and you're still able to also get settings from certain applications from your app data folder. So even if those specific things are corrupted, you still might be able to extract some settings so you at least don't have to start over completely. But you're just gonna have to play around with it, and you might have to kind of go back and forth a little bit and with your backups before you make it all work the way it's supposed to. But hopefully this guide was helpful, and hopefully you were able to restore your settings just like I was able to here. But if you weren't able to, then go ahead and check out this video here where I show you a lot of settings that I suggest you change anyway to help increase your privacy in Windows 11. But as always, you guys have a great day.